Call order, please. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the township meeting for the month of October. Roll call, 5 supervisors present, solicitors present, our township manager present, and our assistant to the manager is present. And our caller. Please stand for pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the public comment time, I would like to mention that before this meeting this evening, we held an executive session concerning litigation and personnel. At this time, public comment time, the Township Board of Supervisors allocates a period of time during this item for those individuals who would like the opportunity to address the Board of Supervisors on any matter. Each person addressing the Board of Supervisors is asked to limit their comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. And I would ask you, if you want to speak this evening, come to the podium, please identify yourself and present your information you want to get across to the board. Mr. Stanek, do you have a list? Or
I do not have a list.
we just ask it, right?
Sure. Yes, please. Yeah. Come to the podium, introduce yourself.
Hi, how are you? Okay,
I'm well, thank you.
good. My name is Michael Backey. I lived in a township for over 50 years. Township's good, but not no more. Now, these gentlemen, I don't know where they live or what, but I live up Patton area, a forgotten area. They forget about us, okay? Number one, how would you gentlemen like to drive by that school every day and look at it? Windows are all white, grass is growing. What is wrong? Are they going to tear it down? They're going to do something or what? Would you just like to drive by there every day and look at it? Number two, the road. Why do you keep putting hot patches in front of the school? Holes. Coming up Sunset, holes. Why don't you grade it off and put a strip? Hot patches only last maybe a week, 2 weeks. But you don't care because we're in Patton, a forgotten area, but we pay taxes. Number three, Jim Barnes, one of the best politicians I ever met in my life. Tell you what you like, tell you what you want to hear. Don't ever deliver. The biggest hole in your payroll, Jim Barnes, the biggest. He don't do nothing for us. He says he's going to come down and trim them trees or go over. I've cut that grass over the bank in front of my house for 50 years. That guy comes around with that tractor that he can lift it up and go over, because I've seen him. In 50 years, he has never, ever come up Fairview Avenue. Never. Never did he ever come up Fairview Avenue and cut that grass. I'll do it. I did it for 50 years to make the street look good. That's why I say, used to be a good township, not no more. Not no more. You don't worry about the small guy. We pay our taxes, but what's that mean? That don't mean nothing. Don't mean a thing. So I just hope somebody can come up here and take care of us, especially that school. I mean, that school is terrible, terrible, terrible looking, terrible. Now, what do you think that does to our value of our homes up there? If somebody drives up there and looks at a home, it's terrible. It's just a disgrace. I brought my neighbors down too. They have some other complaints. All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Joy.
Hi, my name is Joyce Hammond. I live on Fairview Avenue also. and which is the Patton area. And my problem is it's the Randall property on Shady Side. Now, I did speak with Mr. Weber today because this has been going on for 1.5 years. It's nothing but junk, a barrel of oil outside of his garage. I've been trying to get this taken care of for 1.5 years. Never get emails returned, never get phone calls returned. But Mr. Weber has seemed to being able to help us get this through and fixed. And
Could I
also,
ask, ma'am,
yes,
who are you writing to and calling that you're not getting a response?
whoever they give, the switchboard gives me, is there a Brandon? Hi, I
Nice to
must
see
have
you.
emailed you. Nice to see you. He never emailed me back. Mr. Grego, I've emailed you and you've never returned my
I
emails.
didn't mean to throw anybody under the bus. I
No,
was
but
just
you
curious.
asked, you asked.
Sorry, I didn't.
And Mr. Weber has been trying to help, and he assured me that this would get taken care of.
Mr. Weber, do you think, I like to take a look at the property, no cost to the township, since everyone, that's okay.
Yes,
Is Mr. Grego probably?
yeah, be good.
Is that good?
Yes.
Okay,
I'll take a look at it probably on Thursday or Friday.
okay, that's fine. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's been like that forever and ever, but when you have company coming to your home, it's a little embarrassing, like, it's all that junk down there. And another thing we need to think about or talk about is streetlights on Shady Side, where some of my neighbors live. It is pitch dark. Now, I have a streetlight at the top of my driveway and it goes on Mr. Kabaki's yard. So that's good. But they have nothing when you make the turn onto Fairview that says no outlet and you go straight down. I mean, it's pitch black. You can't even see the house. So that's for safety reasons. But I appreciate everything. And just remember what everybody says, strong township government. Thank you.
Very good.
I give you guys these. I took pictures because I've called out a few times. This is my house. It's Elsinore put this fence on the back of my house. He's waking us up, beating this post into the back of our house. Now, this started,
So his property,
I have a right of way behind my house that has a
Would
manhole.
you have the photo?
Sure.
Explain this, what's going on.
Okay.
We can all share.
State your name and address. also.
Okay. Hi, I'm Roberta Ackman, and I live on Shady Side next to Joyce and Mike. Our home, Delsinore owns property behind us that goes out to Main Street. But behind our house is a manhole, so it had to have been like a right of way or something at one time. The manhole was for the sewage for all the houses up there. Right before we bought the home, evidently, he put this fence against the back of this house. Well, we tried to play nice and asked him if we could buy part of it. I don't know if he even owns it, but they're just really mean, nasty people. So then he woke us up about 1 year ago, beating the back of our house with a hammer. And we opened the window up. We're like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm trying to get this post closer to the house. You can't put your hand behind the post in the house. So I had called out here right before the pandemic, and I had someone by the name of Scott come out. He came out and he took pictures. He said, this is unacceptable. It's not allowed. I, in return, tried for over 1.5 years leaving messages to get a hold of him. So then Joyce and Mike talked me into calling back out and get this guy again to get someone else. And he told me, I got a hold of Delsinore and he told us that he took the fence down. He said, had you called me, you would have known that. I said, no, I tried calling you. I left 1,000 messages out here for him. And I said, it's not taken down, nor has it ever been taken down. But prior to this last episode, when I had the police come out because he was hitting the back of the house, 3 doors up, it was a barbed wire fence that he had attached to all of our houses. The little boy, 4 doors up, clotheslined on it and tore his throat up. It was in the ER over it. When they brought it up to the police, they were told that they couldn't do anything about it. It was his property. So when him and I got into it the last time, I said, if one of my kids get hurt on this, we're gonna have problems. So that's when he came back down, he tore that down, the barbed wire, but then he put this wire fence up against the house. He said, if you want to empty your land, you're done. You're not coming back on this property. But everybody that I talked to says he doesn't own that property. And even so, is he allowed to put it to the back of our house?
Thank you. Code enforcement officer is Scott Heckman. He's out for a few days, but we'll follow up with it. And Mr. Stanek will get a call to you about it. He's
Okay,
the township manager, in case you don't know.
okay, thank you. I appreciate
think
that.
we spoke before.
Did we speak?
I think so.
Yeah.
We'll be in touch.
Okay, here's the. Thanks for that.
Okay.
No, I don't need it. You want to keep it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your name again is- I'm sorry, your name again?
Roberta Acton. I have it on.
Roberta? Yes, that's it.
It's 16.
Excuse me, but now,
1675
me, I got a complete
Shady Side.
layout of the lots.
Here's my
Thank
phone.
you so much. Like I said, I just don't know how he's able to do that. and put it right in the house.
Layout.
We'll take a look at it.
I'll take care of
Thank you.
it. I do return phone.
Yes, he does.
Is there someone else who'd like to public comment this evening? No? Okay, thank you, thank you. folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, meeting minutes, please. Number 4, Board of Supervisors regular meeting minutes dated September 28th, 2021.
Move to
Need a motion
approve.
to approve. Thank you, Mr. Burns. Need a second. Thank you, Mr. Lucas. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Number 5, financial business. Approval payroll for the period September 5 through September 18th, September 19th through October 2nd, and bill for the period September 25 through October 22nd. Need a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Lucas. Need a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Number 6, announcement. Mr. Stanek, do we have any announcements this evening?
Curbside leaf pickup will begin next Monday, and it'll be every Monday through the first Monday in December. So please put your leaf bag and branches at an acceptable size outside the curbside. Public Works will be around to pick them up.
Number 7, township reports and presentations, municipal separate storm sewer system, MS4 report. The Board of Supervisors allocates a period of time on this item for comments regarding the topic of stormwater. Each person addressing the Board of Supervisors has to limit their comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. Do we have anyone like to speak to MS4? Okay, thank you. We'll move on. Township manager report.
Sure, just a couple of things. We have representatives of Citizen Library. Do we have any? Oh, maybe not. Okay, Citizens Library, so as communicated to the board in the letter provided in the packet. I don't see Kathy or Ms. Ambrose here this evening, so. Also, just real quick, wanted to update the leaf bag program that we're doing. Last November, the board desire for the township to no longer offer leaf bags at the municipal building. Keeping with the township's leaf bag program and to continue to incent yard waste recycling, the township's partnered with Home Depot this year to allow residents their first 5 leaf bags free. Residents are to pick up vouchers at the municipal building and present to the customer service station at Home Depot along Mertland, and that's the only location. And any additional bag would be formed by the residents like it used to be here at the municipal building. Also, this comes to a time where we have our presentation of the property beautification awards for this year. This is the first year that we've done this. Just to honor the homes and businesses and properties in the township that really like to take care of them, take care of the properties and really show off and showcase the township. I don't think they were nominated.
Take care of the properties. Beautification.
So residents were encouraged to nominate the exceptional properties we have in town on the basis of residential and agricultural categories. In its first year, the program received nominations for 30 properties across through those 3 categories. And we also were blessed by Grace Mitchell and Susan Luisi from the Martha Washington Garden Club to help us review those properties and make recommendations earlier this month on the winners that were selected. So thank you again. So I can, this is your voting, and
You
we'll,
want to do this now?
Yeah.
Okay, so
we'll go ahead and just recognize those
where is
individuals.
the lady from the garden club? See her?
Oh. Grace.
Hey, come on. I thought you were going to show a skit there or something.
Yeah, we have.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So we'd like to start in the residential category. Third place was won by Carrie and Wendy Breckenwald at 65 Eastwood Lane. Are they in attendance?
They are out of town.
They are out of town. That's what I thought. Then second place, we had 34 Stonehenge Drive, Nick and Patty. First.
I don't see them.
Okay. And then first.
Maybe they're out of town with the
Residential.
Rectenwalds. I don't know.
First place in residential, the property at 2276 Flint Drive, Carrie and Katerina Welsh. Oh,
Come on up. We,
Wow.
Hey, somebody
Katerina,
showed
come
up.
on. Katerina. We'll wait for you. Come on. Okay. Come on over here. Congratulations. Gary, congratulations. Did you show his property up there? Okay, good. Here you are. We got a picture here tonight or not?
Oh, we can take pictures.
Sure. Get a picture of first place.
Yeah.
I want this lady.
Brandon. And
You got one there, Scott?
telling you what to do.
Yeah, she is. I'm gonna take a picture first, then I'll listen to this. Okay. I don't need to be in there. Good.
He's got a pen.
Okay, here we go.
He's
First
on.
place, wow.
Ready?
Mhm.
1, 2, 3. I know.
Okay, good. Congratulations. That's great.
Can I get a picture real quick for the newspaper?
You know, put you one over. Okay.
Pull the podium out of the way.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Thank you.
Okay.
One more.
Wait, hold on.
One more. Okay, here we go. Good.
Yeah, right. Stay right here. Okay, guys. Yeah, I think so. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Next. Agriculture.
We have the commercial category up. We have second place at 10 Trinity Place, the new Huntington Bank location. And then first place is 226 Rankin Road, Hat Chuck Incorporated. Mr. Hat Chuck happened to be. Good.
No bankers?
No.
Bankers hours. They do it.
Congratulations. Mhm. There you are. That's good. First place. Let's have a picture. Let's have a round of applause for first place here, will you?
Give you this. Thank you. And then we have two properties in the agricultural category. Second place was 477 Zediker Station Road. Helen Darlin and Bruce Podish. In attendance this evening. And then first place, we had 277 Roof Road, Mr. and Mrs. Gordon, Michelle Sutter. Oh, they're great.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay. You can have that one. I'll let you hold the picture. You're very, very welcome. Yeah, there you are. Okay. Mhm. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, thanks a lot.
Can I make a suggestion? For next year. Continue this next year, I suggest you make a large and small category. It's not fair to just one.
A special thanks goes out to Kimball Greenhouse for presenting the certificate award or the, what is in there? Gift certificate. Gift certificate for all the winners. Let's go around for us. He's not here. Okay, we have the township special, we report.
Just basically, we've been assisting the township in drafting the ordinances, some agreements. We've also been assisting the township in terms of developments going on in the township, and also in review of various matters involving the FEC. That's the extent.
Okay, Township engineer is Kevin here this evening.
I'm here.
We'll fill in for those.
My name is Dan. So for the community park, Village has completed the as-built to the force main for potential adoption by the Washington Joint Authority. And for the Billy Bell Park project, KLH is coordinating the final walkthrough meeting with the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. After completion of that meeting, the township will be able to apply for the final 10% of grant funding. And the last one would be for develop a review letter with the Greek Orthodox Church. Strabane Manor lots 407, 408. A preliminary this property on rate fee for the planning commission.
Thank you very much. Anybody have any questions? Engineer? Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, unfinished business, move on to number 9, new business. Public hearing to consider a resolution approving the transfer of restaurant liquor license number 17308 from Manfredi Enterprise LLC of Chartiers Township to IVP Washington LLC, DBA Italian Village Pizza for a restaurant at 28 Old Mill Boulevard, Washington, Pennsylvania. Mr. Shea, can you give a briefing? You guys worked on the hearing over Mr. Mayfield.
Sure. 2021, we received a letter from Ms. Luna, the law office, legal counsel representing IVP or Italian Village Pizza of Washington LLC. This is a new restaurant coming to town, requesting the township approve an intermunicipal transfer of restaurant liquor license number R17308, the facility located at 28 Old Mill Boulevard. According to the applicant's materials, the applicant is preparing to make application to the PA Liquor Control Board for a restaurant liquor license that will allow for on-site consumption of wine and beer and off-site consumption.
At this point in time, we'll conduct the public hearing involving the liquor license transfer. Do we have someone here from the Pluto's law firm?
I'm here.
And your name is,
Paul Luna.
and you're an attorney also?
I am.
You want to take the podium, please?
Sure.
Do you have anyone to testify on your behalf of this matter?
I have the owner here this evening, Mr. Beltry,
Where's he at?
right here.
So you want to stand next to your attorney?
Sure.
Anyone at this point in time besides you, ma'am, who's going to testify or ask questions, please stand, raise your right hand, and be sworn in. Not you, your counsel. Go, raise your right hand, please. Anyone else in this audience who has any questions or want to pose it, please stand and raise your right hand. Go ahead, Sheila.
What's your name again?
Frank Beltry,
So
Go ahead, last name.
V as in Victor, ELTRI.
You solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Go ahead.
right.
1 second. Before we begin, let's just place this as a record. Exhibit A for the proceeding will be a copy of the proposed resolution to transfer the liquor license. Exhibit B will be the letter dated September 20th, 2021 from the School of Law Office by Holly L. Guna, Guna. Exhibit C will be the public notice that was submitted to the Observer Reporter and printed therein. There was a motion to place those three exhibits in evidence. So
Second, please. Second. Thank you, Mr. Lucas. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried 5-0, Mr. Mayor.
thank you. Ms. Guna, you want to provide us the township with the scenario of what's going on here?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. I'm Holly Guna. I'm from Caputa Law Office here on behalf of the applicant IVP Washington LLC. Sometimes they do swear me in, just so you know, at some other municipalities.
But you also report, so you don't swear you know.
I know, but sometimes they do. So anyways, we're here on behalf of Italian Village Pizza will be the operating name. He's looking to go 28 Old Mill Boulevard, which I believe was the old Noodles and Company right up here at the strip mall. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with Italian Village Pizza. They have numerous locations throughout the area. The closest one probably being McMurray, PA. We did bring some menus here tonight. I'm happy to show you guys if you want to see. It's going to be the same type of menu at this location here. So as far as what they're doing, their hours of operation, it's going to be 11 a.m. to 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. 7 days a week. There's going to be seating for approximately 50 inside the restaurant and eventually possibly some outside seating right on the side there, a few tables outside. They're not planning on doing any entertainment at this location and looking to employ approximately 15 to 20 employees. Frank, who is the majority owner of the company, is also going to be the manager of this location. The LCB requires us to appoint a full-time manager. He has to go through ramp certification and has to be able to devote what they consider full-time to the business. So our first step in doing all this for the liquor license is coming here. We must get approval first from the municipality before we can even file with the LCB. Then there's a process we go through with the LCB. It takes approximately 60 to 90 days from when we start for an approval of a liquor license transfer. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have as far as the liquor license or the process itself. And I'm sure Frank can answer any questions if you have specifically in regards to the business.
So this is a transfer of the liquor license from the old Sam's restaurant
Correct.
located, I believe, what was it, 18?
It was, yeah, on Henderson Avenue.
Okay, Mr. Weber, you guys, board have any questions?
Any particular board owner have a question? Mr. Burns?
I do not, thank you.
Mr. Grego? Mr. Lucas?
No.
Murphy?
No, just leave me a menu, sorry.
I will leave you guys. Can I leave them? These?
Yeah.
Okay.
absolutely.
Move to enter the menu into the record.
I will say we frequent the one in McMurray and it's pretty good.
No further questions, the board?
Well, I want to say, is it Frank?
Yes,
Do you have anything to add to this, to give me more clarification, or she do a good job?
She- yeah, she did a good job. Unless you guys have any questions for me.
Why don't you brag about the business?
Oh, it's best case, you're gonna love it. We're good. It's authentic.
Just, so you know, too, it's a family business. His dad started them. He has some, his dad has a few, his brother. It's kind of nice that they've kept them all in the family.
How many stores do you have?
18 locations now. Yeah.
You know, all Pennsylvania, Ohio? where you-
No, Pennsylvania, and then I have one down in Orlando, Florida, believe it or not. But besides that, just Orlando and Pittsburgh area, Evansburg, Western Pennsylvania.
At this point in time, anybody in the public have any questions or comments or raise an objection to it? So the record is no one in the audience raised an objection or anything?
Does anybody want me to read the menu? I'll pass this around, actually. Laney,
Here.
take a look and share it with the other guests.
Sure.
Thank you, guys.
All right. At this point in
Welcome
time, nothing
aboard.
further?
I have nothing further. Thank you.
Mr. Weber, is there any further
No
questions?
other questions?
Okay, at this point in time, is there a motion to close the testimony?
Move to close the testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. You all clear for the testimony? Indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Mr. Mayor.
No, we need a motion to adopt the resolution.
So moved.
All those in favor of the resolution, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Weber.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on. Letter B, public hearing to consider the adoption of an ordinance setting forth rules and regulations for the use of a recycle center facility located at 253 Zedeco Station Road and providing penalties for violations thereof. Mr. Stent, do a briefing before we move on to Mr. Maple.
Presented for the board's consideration tonight, an ordinance regulating the use of the Township Recycle Center on Zedeco Station Road, following several recurring incidents of dumping of construction materials by contractors, incorrectly sized yard waste, and other miscellaneous items. Township staff, with the assistance of Solicitor Maple, has drafted the attached ordinance for the board's consideration to continue to efficiently and effectively provide this convenient service to residents. The ordinance seeks to regulate the use of the recycle center by restricting use by contractors and non-residents, restricting acceptable materials to only paper, glass, cardboard, and properly sized yard waste, and providing for fines of not more than $1,000 per item. Note the ordinance does not specifically state those items that are unacceptable, as all items unacceptable, as all items are unacceptable if not paper, glass, cardboard, or yard waste. The recycle center is currently open 24/7 and video monitored with feed directly to the police station for security purposes. Public notice was advertised at the October 19th edition of the OR and made available at the Front County Municipal Building and posted on the township.
Okay, Mr. Maple.
At this point in time, we'll begin the public hearing involving the proposed ordinance. Exhibit A for the record will be a copy of the draft ordinance for the board's review of this proceeding. Exhibit B will be an email dated October 26, 2021 from Cynthia Rossi. You can read it out right now.
I got it.
You want to read it, Mr. Burns?
Yes, I've been asked to read it. It reads as follows. Gentlemen, does wording of the proposed ordinance include provisions for waste created by the trimming of hedges, scrubs, and other plants commonly used in landscaping throughout the township? Both the trees and the grass and leaf areas are filled with these materials throughout the majority of the year. Would it be possible to utilize the area that is immediately adjacent to the grass and leaf area for this type of material and add wording providing for the recycling of those materials? Does the ordinance as proposed allow a resident to hire someone to transport their yard material to the recycling center? In the past, I was told hiring someone to drive the material I collected and bagged or the branches I gathered to the recycling center was not permitted. It seems unreasonable that any resident should be prohibited from hiring someone to convey yard waste to the recycling center. Frankly, it does not seem reasonable or fair that a resident should be required to own or have access to a truck to transport yard waste. Respectfully submitted, Cynthia A. Rossi.
So is there a motion to place into evidence Exhibit A being the ordinance itself, Exhibit B being the statement given by Mr. Burns, which is part of the email from Ms. Cynthia Rossi dated today?
So moved.
Yes, second, please. I'll second it. Thank you, Mr. Lucas. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0, Mr. Mayor.
At this point in time, does anybody have any statements or questions or objections to the ordinance as presented? Let the record show that no one in the audience stood up and raised any objection, had any questions or concerns regarding said ordinance. Does the board have any questions or comments about the ordinance?
Murphy,
No, I'm fine with it.
Lucas,
No.
Mr. Rego. Mr. Burns.
I think just for clarification, in case the audience is not following what we're doing here, this is to prohibit illegal dumping. We are encouraging residents are welcome to use it, etc. But commercial enterprises have been showing up there and dumping waste, and we feel that that should be part of their occupation, their business, and not something that the citizens would be paying for. So just for clarification.
Thank you. Being that there's no further questions or comments from the public and or the board, is there a motion to close the testimony?
I'll second that. Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Thank you, Mr. Lucas. All those in favor of closing the hearing, please indicate by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0, Mr. Mayor.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance as presented?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Burns, second, Mr. Murphy first. All those in favor of adopting the ordinance, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried 5-0, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Weber, there's going to be someone on the board who's going to respond to the question about the transportation of debris. And move on.
Mr. As usual, our township manager, Mr. Stanley, do the job.
Thank you.
Yeah, please, let Mrs. Rossi know that the other bin on the other side is for trees and branches, and it has been there since the grass. I'm not exactly sure what you meant by that.
Get that,
You
Brandon?
have that.
Get that. Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Maple.
Thank you, Mr. Weber.
Letter D, resolution granting preliminary final minor subdivision approval for Dan Ryan Builders, Mid-Atlantic LLC for the Strabane Manor revised plan for lots 407, 408 located along Shawnee Drive in the R4 residential zoning district. Mr. Stanley, can you give a briefing on that, please?
Sure. In September, the township received an application for preliminary and final minor subdivision approval from Dan Ryan Builders for the proposed Strabane Manor revised plan for lots 407 and 408 located along Shawnee Drive. The revision seeks to subdivide the lots down the party line wall of the units. The proposed revised subdivision is consistent with the master plan for the development. At its meeting on October 7th, the planning commission recommended the board grant preliminary and final subdivision approval, subject to the township engineer's comments being addressed. I don't believe a representative of Dan Ryan or Spurgeon Lane Surveying was able to make it today, so I don't see that.
Motion to approve. We have a motion to approve.
We don't care for public here.
Yes, oh, yes. You speak for Dan Ryan. Anything?
I personally have nothing else.
This is a simple lot check. Am I correct, Mr. Stanley?
Yeah, this is subdivision of 2 lots.
Did you approve this, or Kevin did, or?
Yeah, Kevin did it, recording of the
You're okay.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. Second, please.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Lucas. Any further discussion on it? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Liberty, resolution granting preliminary and final land development approval for Greek Orthodox Metropolis of Pittsburgh, Inc. for a church and residence located along Enterprise Road in the R2 residential zoning district. Briefing, please, Mr. Stanley.
Well, on August 2nd, the township received an application from the Greek Orthodox Metropolis of Pittsburgh, Inc. for preliminary and final land development approval for the construction of a church and residence with surface parking located along Fairway Drive, commonly known as parcel number 600040000001302, and another property right beside it in the R2 residential zoning district. The proposed development includes 2 undeveloped parcels which are accessed from Enterprise Road. The applicant proposes to develop planned facilities for a church, a patronage, and site access and parking facilities. Prior to submitting the application for land development, the applicant applied for and received a use by special exception from the zoning hearing board. The planning commission considered the subsequent land development application during a public hearing on September 2nd and on October 7th. Following this, the planning commission unanimously recommended approval of the application subject to compliance with the township engineer's comments.
And we have someone, I guess, at the podium there. Okay.
Yes, you do.
What is your name?
Matthew Smith, owner and founder of Wrestling Group, veteran-owned civil engineering and surveying company located in Monroeville, Pennsylvania.
Would you like to give us a brief information on what's going on here? I mean, I saw the document, I saw
Yeah,
all these things, these big things here.
correct. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're here for final land development, preliminary and final land development approval for the aforementioned project. It's a social hall and church and residence. The residence is for on-site and single family. It's directly behind the Church of Latter-day Saints property, and it butts Route 70 or I-79.
Why don't you talk a little bit about parking, adjacent parking, maybe the
Okay.
cemetery in the back?
Certainly. they're only expecting a few events a year. So there is an adjoining lot that's going to be grassed and with reinforced turf matting for overflow events. That's on parcel 2, which is more to the southeast of the project. And the latest set of comments from KLH, they requested some information on some reinforced turf matting, which we're pursuing some cut sheets to handle the heavily loaded vehicles, which in this case would be a fire truck. So we're waiting for that information on that. We want to maintain the grass, that's how it is now. We'll have there's going to be some concrete sidewalks there for access and everything to the main flow when they do have their very few and infrequent larger gatherings.
Have you ever used the turf track pavers before?
Well, this is a reinforced turf system that goes in, that's embedded within the grass. It's not pavers per se, so it's more of a
Metal plastic things?
plastic, not metal.
I know
Not
what they
metal.
are, that's why I'm asking. Have you ever used them?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
I never have. And any place I've ever seen never had good luck.
Well,
The grass
they're not meant to be
will
plowed, that's for sure.
No, it's gotta be grass, I get it.
Yes. Yeah.
But Inch and a half of dirt on 8 inches of gravel usually doesn't coexist with.
Well, the detail that is being proposed would, especially with the heavier vehicles, has been, we're getting the specs from the supplier to make sure it can handle the fire trucks and everything. Been doing this for a little over 3 decades and using about 3 or 4 applications. It's not used too often, but especially up in this climate up here. But it's been used, and if it's installed properly and maintained, it can be a durable surface for a good period of time.
Any other board member have any questions?
Yeah, there was a petition in there from some of the residents in that area, and I think they're worried about noise. When you're talking about bigger gatherings, what kind of buffer zone do you have between the homes up there and the development?
Well, between us and we have the Church of Latter-day Saints that are actually between us and most of the homes, and the gathering the larger building is actually, it's buffered between the existing Latter-day Saints building and ours. There is one resident that I believe the township asked for us to try to retain as much of the existing foliage as possible. That was an informal comment that came from the municipality. And so we are going to look at that and try to retain as many trees during construction and remove as few as possible. That was on the eastern side going into the property off of Enterprise Road. I'm sorry, the western side of Enterprise Road. There's other homes, lots 20, 19, and 18 that are further north, but that is where the residence is for the social hall. So as far as the larger gatherings, they're on the opposite side of the existing Church of Latter-day Saints, and there is a landscape buffer that's proposed, and there is an upslope gradient. I'd be for as infrequent as it's going to transpire. I would like to think that it's downhill.
When you say infrequent, how often?
From what I was told, I've been involved with the project since 2014. I've heard 3 to 4 a year.
There were 10 events given at the zoning hearing board testimony as well as with the planning commission.
Okay. All right.
Okay, one other question about that cemetery. If somebody wanted to go up to that cemetery, was they going to be landlocked or how would somebody go about going up to that cemetery?
There's still going to be access going down to the cemetery. It's the access being maintained, and when we laid out the parking for the grass area, they can go through that and they can park in the overflow parking.
So they'll have to go through your parking lot
Correct.
to get to the cemetery.
Yes, and we're working on an easement for that right now.
Okay.
That was one of the comments that came
You
through.
might have mentioned it, but for clarification, did you indicate this is close to the Washington Country Club?
Due south.
Yeah, you're right there.
Yeah, and then to the south of us is a newer housing development
Right.
And then to the west, our border is I-79,
Right.
and to the east is the Latter-day Saints. So
Yeah,
we're
Boxed in.
boxed in. Yes, very well, Bracken.
Yeah, I did.
Mr. Murphy, go ahead.
Well, you since you're here, you can answer too. I was curious about the fire access behind the building, because of the size of it.
Yes, I reviewed the site plan with Wrestling and another architect as far as for egress of the larger trucks back to where we would need to be as far as for fire department connections and ingress to those.
Oh, you're at.
Yeah, well, they will have some,
We're having functions and stuff there.
they will have some conditions for the, because there's no 360-degree access for the building. So there are some conditions put on there for those cabins and connections on the lower level backside that we would be able to connect.
And then this is just a comment, so you're aware of it, but you are in deer country, and if you use Fusa placatum green giant, the deer are gonna eat them all up for your buffer zone.
What is the plant again?
Fusa, Phuta, placata, Plicata, green giant.
So it's a deer salad bar. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
It's a deer salad.
Yeah, it comes.
Okay.
It's a buffet. And same with the trees, you're gonna use 2-inch trees, they put,
Well, we'll put some
Water
buck rub block
yeah,
on it.
you're gonna have to put something around them, the bucker now grows into pieces.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I've got my yard out east, so deer country's everywhere here.
And then we had talked about this, and Russ, you could talk better to me, where Enterprise ends and turns into your driveway. Or
Or right away.
ends at,
About 20 feet past the turn, and then it turns into a gravel road access road. to
Yes.
the
so
cemetery.
we were talking about that, and we were wondering if we could get like an agreement with the church that we could use that road, go around the circle in the winter time to plow, so that they could just come around and come back out.
Got it back and back. into
Does that mean
the
you'll
intersection.
have blades down?
We work something out here.
Well, we gotta get back.
You
out
know.
too.
I'm sure an agreement, an amenable agreement can be made. Yes, absolutely. Obviously, that's a private drive there, but I'm sure that they would be fine with working on that, especially if blades are down going around the circle. You know, that'd be fine.
Unless they have to plow.
Yeah.
Uh,
So up through the circle and basically up to before the parking lot. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, just turn around in a circle and back out they go.
Okay, would that be something worked out with Public Works, or is that with the municipality, or who's that worked out?
That's understanding.
Yes, it'll be public works director myself, yes.
How many hats you got?
It's these two guys right here. They're both here.
Okay,
That's it.
It has to be agreement with the township, so we can work that out.
okay.
Mr. Bird, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Thank you. Mr. Maple, do you have any questions?
No.
You okay with it? All right, then, need a motion to.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. Need a second. Thank you, Mr.
May I make a
Smith.
suggestion?
Yes, you may.
Would this be conditioned on
Yeah,
KLH's
more things
approval
that they need.
of the surface, the plastic tech
So the
surface?
motion would include.
Yeah, there was three comments. There was three comments, the easement,
Right.
the information on the overflow parking, and there's one more. I'm
So the
sorry.
motion,
Snowplow.
so if you make a motion, Mr. Burns,
Yeah.
or you amend your motion to include the response.
Absolutely.
Who
My
makes
motion
second?
includes the three comments during the deliberations be addressed.
You amend your motion to include those responses?
Okay with that?
Yes.
In addition to my formal email to your colleague that he had asked for regarding the additional landscaping to buffer the resident.
The McCurry's.
Resident on Enterprise Road, he didn't really address that sufficiently, so if you could take another look at that for us.
Yeah, that's the McCreary's, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, we'll look at the demo plan and see where the limits, I mean, when you show a demo plan, it's just based on where we think we're gonna grade. We can tighten that up. And then during construction activities, for a pre-bid, we can look at seeing how many trees we can maintain.
Just a couple more hardier trees would be fine.
Yeah.
Mr. Stanley, would you go over those three things in this amendment?
Sure.
So I have clarification.
On the townships, so the motion is contingent and conditioned upon adhering to the township engineer's comments, which are the easement, which are the plastic material pervious, reinforced pervious mat for the parking lot, and the third one that you had.
I do not recall. Do not have that.
One second.
Parking? Is it?
Parking was good.
Yeah.
What might be submitted back.
Been the edible trees.
Oh, no, the geotech report, because we had 2-to-1 slopes.
That was the third.
That's what, I mean, yes,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
and that's being done, actually, it was being worked on today. I do know.
So the township's engineer's comments, as well as Supervisor Murphy's comment regarding be sure to protect that landscaping that you're putting in. And let's take another look at the vegetation that seems to be the.
Deer cell chance.
Come up with something a little more
Less appetizing.
less appetizing, thank you. And I think secondly would be the hardier landscaping off the border of the property on the Enterprise Road.
We set that? Have all the right things down? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried 5-0.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
There you go.
First time I've ever been to a meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Motion approved in agreement with the redevelopment authority of the county of Washington, the administration of local share account grant money for the Tanger Boulevard Road construction project. Mr. Stanley.
In 2019, the township was awarded a grant in the amount of $440,000 under the Washington County Local Share Account Program, LSA, for the purpose of defraying a portion of the cost of the Tanger Boulevard Infrastructure Improvement Project. Through an agreement with Chapman Properties, Chapman will provide an additional $100,000 towards the project for a total of $540,000. On September 30th, staff met with Bob Griffin and Kerry Fox of the Washington County Redevelopment Authority to review the process concerning this project. In preparation for summer 2022 construction, the engineering design would be bid before the end of the year, and the construction work bid early spring 2022 in preparation for post-Memorial Day holiday construction date. In consultation with the authority, as well as Township Engineer Cray, Public Works Director Grego, it would be in the best interest, be in the township's best interest to manage the project, as it would provide more local control over the work performed without the authority serving as facilitator between the township and the construction firm. This gives us a little more control over every detail possible. The township engineer would serve as that project manager with assistance from the Public Works Director. Should the board desire the township to manage the project, the authority requires a cooperation agreement naming the township as a sub-grantee of the grant, requiring the township to abide by rules concerning the obtaining, disbursement, and usage of the grant funds. Township engineer Cray has, and KLH in general, has a lot of experience in managing redevelopment authority projects, and so I do not see that as a challenge.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Byrd. His second, please.
I'll second that.
We're gonna come to discuss it. Second first. No, second.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay, Mr. Murphy, now discussion, go ahead.
I wanted to hear from Russ, what he thought about this. I'm all for working with KLH. We can keep it to PennDOT specs. This takes it over. I think it's a good thing. It needs to be done. I'd like to see it done this year, but spring's a good time. There'll be full inspections. Reports. Make it work.
Okay. Good report. Anything else?
I just like them to be sure, the condition that the solicitor reads the agreement.
I already agree.
You're right.
Yeah, what it does is provides, we're supposed to have bonds in place, performance bonds, maintenance bonds. You have to keep accurate records of what you're doing. It's a standard redevelopment authority agreement. You also have to keep records, you have, bonds, insurances, things of that nature. So it's pretty standard stuff. I've dealt with these agreements before.
That's it.
I have no objection to the terms.
Any other discussion? Motion we have a second. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Move on. Letter G. Report and motion accepting the Streeter Park survey results. Mr. Janet?
Okay, I'll turn this over to Jim, if you want to rev up that presentation.
I'll keep this relatively brief, and if my voice is a little hoarse, I apologize. I yelled a little too much at that game on Saturday. So, Board of Supervisors direct the planning commission to basically evaluate Streeter Park as part of its long-term plan in the future of this. For those of you who don't know, Streeter Park it's a pocket park, basically right in the middle of the pancake neighborhood. Now, who we surveyed, we sent 65 addresses in the vicinity of Streeter Park. We did them anonymously, but I did separate them into inner and outer ring households by using font differences on it. We had 10 returned by the post office, but we still had 55 households that the survey went out to. And we had a decent amount returned by the outer ring suburbs. But if you look at the response rate, we actually had a much higher response rate in the inner ring suburbs, 56% responded. Overall, we received 23 completed surveys by the September 27th deadline, which is actually, I was impressed by that. I expected between 10 and 15, so I was pretty happy with that. So, and we also, midway through the response period, we sent that reminder postcard to all of the residences in the area. Just wanted to give you an idea of that. So for those of you who don't know, this is the area surveyed, and that's where Streeter Park is located in Township. It's in that pancake area, it's about southwest of the city of Washington, southeast, sorry. We asked some basic demographic questions in the survey, and what we saw here from the responses is that the vast majority of people have either been there a very short period of time or a very long period of time. Number of individuals living at the address, mostly multiple people living at the addresses, 35% with 2, 26% with 4. Most of the response only didn't have any children there, but it's actually surprising given the results you'll see later on. Most responses did have a dog, only 39% didn't have a dog, so that was something we looked at as well. And I already kind of went over those results. Overall, the 61% of results, they come from those outer rings. So those living in the neighborhood, they either recently moved in or been there since at least the mid-90s. That's kind of what I mentioned earlier. 52% are short term versus 40% long term. It's pretty good. 70% of households have at least one dog or child under the age of 12, and 78% were in multi-individual households. In other words, types of people I would like to have a park around. So we surveyed them on their current park usage, and as you'll see, playground equipment like the sliding board and merry-go-round were most popular, as well as walking. As you can see there. We also asked them what you want to see with this park. And in concert with those current uses, the vast majority want to see updated playground facilities. And this is as consistent with the results of the current usage question. Seating area and lighting, also popular results. And we also solicited written comments because not everything can be captured. And this actually did capture some interesting things. Generated this word cloud, a lot of references to playground and kids support quantitative results. Multiple comments address the current lack of a basketball hoop and the wish to see a new one installed. Several knew that the park needs better maintenance.
And several comments spoke favorably of the nearby Billy Ball Park and wish to see similar improvements at Street Park. Overall response are enthusiastic about Street Park and would seem generally excited over Township potentially making improvements. Playground equipment and getting a basketball hoop installed were priorities among those requested. And while a vocal minority did request off-street parking, most response did not indicate this as a desired improvement. And there were just as many comments stating desire for no off-street parking to be added. I presented this to the planning commission earlier this month. Their recommendation was to consider updated playground equipment, seating area, and lighting for the 2022 budget. And that's all I have to say on that. Any questions?
Thank you, Jim.
Good, Jim.
Good job. Thank you.
There are questions, sir.
Yeah.
I live on Statement, which is right around the corner. I never got any survey.
What's your address? I can double check on that.
130 Statement.
Statement's probably out of that.
It might be outside the range. To
Can
be
you
honest,
bring up the map again, you can see.
Right here. That's gotta be
Yeah,
our
Statement is. your
Is
one-
this stairs right here?
That's Statement, you're one, yeah.
right outside of the range we saw this.
If you want to take the survey, you have to move. You're gonna have to move inside the square.
I'll just go to Billy Bell.
There you go. Nice.
Any other questions? Thank you, Jim.
You got it.
Motion to accept the Streeter Park survey results. Thank you, Mr. Bernier, second. Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Letter H, motion appointed 4 full-time firefighters. Mr. Stender, you want to defer to Mr. Murphy on this? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, sure.
Mr. Murphy, you want to start?
Oh, sure. I'd like to make a motion that we hire 4 full-time firemen. 1 being Scott Efflinger, 2 being Scott Boland, number 3 being Michael Mawowski, and number 4 being Wendy Wetzel Cook. And I'd like to, the fire chief and the township manager to select the times and dates that they will start so that they're not all starting on at the same time.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion. Scott, do you have anything to add to this? Any comment at all?
I just want to thank the board, the interview committee, and the hiring committee for their efforts with meeting with these candidates and with the selection that was picked.
Mr. Stan, anything else?
Sure. This is actually replacing 3 of our firefighters, bringing in, adding 1 more that we budgeted for this year. So we are up 1, so we now have 9 full-time firefighters. I'd just like to say we've done several firefighter recruitments, and I think that this group is was one of the most qualified, professional, credentialed groups, hiring groups that we have done yet. So we're seeing a lot of solid interest.
Thank you, Mr. Stan. Let me clear my thoughts. Good. We have a first and a second. All in favor of the motion of 24 full-time firefighters as named? Well, please, if you're in favor of the motion, vote aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Let's move on to letter I. Motion accepting the resignation of and appointing Michael Campbell as a part-time firefighter. Mr. Stinnett, you want to talk to that?
Sure.
End of his service, Michael's service.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Mike has been with us, Mike Campbell has been with us since 2015. He's resigning from his position as full-time firefighter. He's taking a job with the Washington Health System. And Mr. Campbell has also expressed interest in serving as a part-time firefighter, which you may recall a year or 2 ago, we actually worked with the fire union to amend that agreement and to allow a structure for a part-time firefighter. So that'd be a great assistance to keep Campbell around.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Byrne. Need a second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion?
Well, yeah, what are we at? Are we approving his resignation
Both.
and then
Both.
approving his?
No, it's one
part-time
motion,
firework?
accepting the resignation, and approving the part-time.
Both.
Yes.
Just making sure.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Letter J, motion approving a winter maintenance agreement with J. Angley's Enterprise LP for phases 2 and 3 of the Bradford Run Planned Residential Development. Mr. Stanley.
J.H. Leaders Enterprises, developer for the Bradford Run development, requesting the township enter into a winter waste maintenance agreement for snow and ice clearance, as well as the application of anticipated and or de-icing materials for the entire length of Morgan Drive and Stevens Court. The Bradford Run phase 2 and 3 sections. The agreement is in the amount of $1,450 and terminates on April 15th. This is typical for the township to engage, or for developers to engage the township, because there are people residing on these streets, and this just creates a lot more efficiency, effectiveness to make sure that our residents have clear roadways or anything.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. Second, please. Thank you, Mr. Grego. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Need a motion to adjourn, please.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Wiggins. I'll second that. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Adjourned. Thank you, and thank everyone out there for attending this evening.
Thank you to the green team for being here.